Japanese urban legends. Some of the creepiest legends you'll ever hear come from Japan. Vengeful spirits, cursed tunnels, walking half-bodies. These stories have been passed down for generations, terrifying locals and visitors alike. So, if you think you're brave enough, let's look at some of Japan's spookiest ones. Just don't look under your bed tonight. You never know what might be waiting. Number 1. The Kiyotaki Tunnel Curse. The legend dates back to the Edo period, when a Buddhist monk named Ginkaku was said to have wandered through the countryside, deep in meditation. His journey led him to a strange tunnel carved into the mountains, one he had never seen before. There was something very creepy about it. Curiosity got the better of him, and he stepped inside. Almost instantly, a wave of fear washed over him. It wasn't just the darkness, it was the feeling that he wasn't alone. Overwhelmed, he fled to a nearby temple, where he later described what he had felt. He called it the haunting of Kiyotaki. From that day forward, talks of the tunnel's curse spread. Some say the tunnel is guarded by the Kiyotaki Canon, a spirit who watches over those who pass through. Others believe a vengeful ghost lurks within, preying on anyone who dares to enter. Travelers have reported feeling an icy breath on their necks, hearing whispers echo through the tunnel, or even seeing figures standing at the far end, only for them to vanish the moment they step closer. Some people argue that these are just stories meant to scare people away, but even the most doubtful souls can't deny the unease they feel when they step inside. The locals, however, know better. Many offer quiet prayers before entering, seeking protection from whatever lies in wait. Despite its dark reputation, the Kiyotaki Tunnel remains in use. Day after day, people drive through, hoping to emerge on the other side in one piece. Number 2 is the legend of the human-faced dog. They call it Jinmenken. Imagine walking home late at night, only to spot a stray dog in the distance. But as you get closer, you realize something is terribly wrong. It has a human face. Jinmenken is a disturbing legend that has circulated in Japan for decades. These creatures are often seen in urban areas, particularly near alleys or abandoned streets. The story goes that in 1810, an unnatural creature was born, a dog with the face of a human. Word of the weird being spread quickly, catching the attention of a traveling carnival owner. Sensing an opportunity, he sought out the strange animal and acquired it for his sideshow, known as misemono, a popular form of entertainment showcasing oddities and curiosities. As expected, the human-faced dog became an instant sensation. People traveled from far and wide, eager to lay eyes on the creature. The carnival owner was happy with his newfound fortune, as the grotesque attraction brought in more visitors than ever before. But as the legend goes, unnatural things never bring easy fortune for long. Some say the dog began to whisper in the dead of night. Others claim that those who stared into its eyes for too long found themselves haunted by disturbing dreams. And then, one day, the dog simply vanished. No trace, no explanation. The carnival owner's luck turned overnight, and soon, his business crumbled. Some say the human-faced dog still roams the streets of Tokyo, appearing to unsuspecting travelers in the dead of night. Number 3. The Legend of Oiwa. The story of Oiwa has to be one of the most terrifying ghost legends in Japan. Oiwa was a kind and devoted wife married to Tamiya Iemon, a disgraced samurai. But Iemon was an ambitious man who saw his wife as an obstacle to a better future. When he caught the attention of a wealthy woman from a powerful family, he decided to get rid of Oiwa. Instead of leaving her, he hatched a cruel plan. He conspired with his lover's family and fed Oiwa a slow-acting poison, one that wouldn't kill her immediately, but would instead disfigure her. As the poison took effect, Oiwa's beauty turned into a nightmarish sight. Her skin turned pale and sickly, one eye droops lower than the other, and her mouth twisted in agony. In unbearable pain, she died, cursing Iemon with her last breath. But death was not the end for her. Her spirit rose, consumed by rage, and began to haunt Iemon in the most horrifying ways. She appeared in his dreams, her deformed face staring at him from the darkness. She whispered to him in the dead of night, her voice growing louder and more maddening with each passing moment. Whenever he tried to rest, he saw her reflection in lanterns, mirrors, and even the faces of people around him. Driven to madness, Eamon lashed out in terror, killing those around him, mistaking them for Oiwa's ghost. No matter where he fled, she followed. There was no escape from her wrath. Eventually, tormented beyond reason, he met a tragic end. Some say by his own hand, others say Oiwa's spirit dragged him into the afterlife. Number 4. The Taxi Ghosts of Tokyo. The legend of Japan's ghost taxis has many versions, each unsettling in its own way. In some stories, a taxi driver picks up a passenger, only to glance in the mirror and see a pale figure in the back seat. But when they turn around, the seat is empty. In other versions, a traveler walks alone at night and waves down a taxi. They get inside, but something feels wrong. The driver is silent, and when they finally see his face, it's skeletal or decayed. In the most terrifying tale, there is no driver at all. The taxi moves by itself, taking the passenger to an unknown fate. Many who have experienced these ghostly encounters refuse to speak of them, fearing that telling the story might summon the spirits again. Whether it's the ghostly passenger or the phantom driver, one thing is certain. Once you step into a haunted taxi, there's no telling if you'll reach your destination or disappear into the night. Now that's spooky. Number 5. The Legend of the Phone Call from Hell, Kokuri-san's Curse. Kokuri-san is Japan's equivalent of a Ouija board, a supernatural game that supposedly allows people to communicate with spirits. Using a piece of paper with written letters and a coin as a planchette, participants ask questions, hoping for answers. The legend warns that disrespecting Kokuri-san can have deadly consequences. If a player forgets to say goodbye, the spirit remains attached to them, leading to horrifying events such as unexplained noises, disturbing visions, and even death. A common variation of the legend tells of a cursed phone call. If one fails to end the game properly, they may receive a call from an unknown number. Upon answering, they will hear a distorted, inhuman voice whispering their name. After that, their doom is inevitable. Some schools have banned students from playing Kokuri-san, fearing the psychological and paranormal repercussions that come with it. Number 6. The Okiku doll that grows hair. In a small temple in Hokkaido, a doll known as Okiku is kept under close watch. The doll is said to contain the spirit of a young girl who passed away, and the legend claims that its hair continues to grow mysteriously. The story dates back to the early 20th century, when a boy purchased the doll for his younger sister, Okiku. Tragically, the girl died from illness shortly after, and her grieving family placed the doll on an altar in her memory. Soon after, they noticed that the doll's hair, originally cut short, had begun to grow. When researchers examined the hair, they allegedly confirmed that it was human. The temple caretakers now trim the doll's hair regularly, believing that Okiku's spirit still resides within it. Visitors have reported feeling an eerie presence when they approach the doll, making it one of Japan's most unsettling urban legends. Number 7. The Tek-Tek Tale. The story of Tik-Tik revolves around the vengeful spirit of a young woman who suffered a tragic accident. According to the legend, she fell onto a railway line and was cut in half by an oncoming train. Now, as an onryo, meaning vengeful spirit, she haunts urban areas and train stations at night. Deprived of her lower body, she moves using her hands or elbows, dragging her torso and producing a distinctive scratching sound, described as tek-tek. If she encounters someone, she chases them down with alarming speed and slices them in half, mirroring her own gruesome fate. In some versions, she wields a scythe or another sharp weapon. A related legend is that of Kashima Reiko, another spirit who lost her legs to a train and is said to haunt bathrooms, asking occupants if they know where her legs are. An incorrect answer can result in a violent death. Number 8. The Legend of Kuchisake Onna. The legend of Kuchisake Onna, the slit-mouthed woman, is one of Japan's most terrifying legends. Though it has variations, its core remains the same. a tragic past, a vengeful spirit, and an encounter that ends in horror. As the tale goes, Kuchisake Onna was once a beautiful woman, the wife of a jealous samurai. Her beauty attracted many admirers, but her infidelity, or mere suspicion of it, sealed her fate. Enraged, her husband attacked her, slashing her mouth from ear to ear while yelling, "Who will think you're beautiful now?" Left to die, she transformed into an onryo, cursed to wander the streets forever. Now, she appears on lonely streets at night, wearing a surgical mask to hide her disfigurement. She approaches unsuspecting victims, often children, and asks, "Am I beautiful?" If they answer no, she kills them on the spot. If they say yes, she removes her mask, revealing her ghastly, mutilated mouth, and repeats the question. A second no means death, while a yes earns the victim a fate just as gruesome. She slashes their mouth to resemble her own. Over time, people have developed ways to escape her. Some say answering "you're average" confuses her, buying enough time to run. Others claim throwing candy distracts her. But the legend warns, once you hear her question, there's no guarantee of escape. Another well-known legend is Hanako-san, the spirit of the toilet, and this one is popular among schoolchildren. The story tells of the spirit of a young girl named Hanako who haunts school bathrooms. To summon her, one must knock 3 times on the third stall of a girl's bathroom, usually on the 3rd floor, and ask, "Are you there, Hanako-san?" If she is present, she will respond affirmatively. The details of Hanako-san's origin vary. In some versions, she was a child who died during an air raid in World War II while hiding in the bathroom. In others, she was a victim of bullying who committed suicide in the school restroom. The legend has become a part of Japanese school folklore, with children daring each other to summon Hanako-san, and it has been depicted in various media, including films, manga, and anime. Number 9. The Legend of Gozu. The legend of Gozu, or Cowhead, is said to be so terrifying that anyone who hears it is overcome with extreme fear, sometimes leading to illness or even death. The story is supposedly so dangerous that no full version exists today. Only fragments remain, and even those are believed to cause panic and dread. One of the most chilling accounts comes from a Japanese schoolteacher who supposedly came into possession of a portion of the Cowhead manuscript. During a school trip, he decided to read it aloud to his students. At first, they were entertained, but soon, fear gripped the entire bus. The children began screaming, begging him to stop, but he was unable to. His body was seized by an uncontrollable urge to continue. The entire bus reportedly fell into a state of hysteria, with students trembling, crying, and even passing out. When the teacher finally regained control, he could not remember what he had read. Some believe Cowhead originated as an old folktale meant to warn people of something sinister, but its full content remains unknown. Others say that it was an unfinished horror story, lost to time, but still feared in whispers. Whatever the truth, the legend of Cowhead remains one of Japan's most disturbing mysteries, one that no one dares to fully uncover. Number 10. The Legend of aka Manto. Aka Manto, or Red Cape, is a malevolent spirit said to haunt public and school bathrooms, particularly the last stall. The legend describes a handsome man who was often admired, leading him to wear a mask to avoid attention. In some versions, he was murdered in a bathroom, and his spirit now offers a choice to those who enter his stall. He asks if they want a red or blue paper, or cape. Choosing red results in a violent death, often described as being slashed until one's clothes are stained red with blood. Choosing blue leads to suffocation or blood drainage, turning the victim's face blue. Attempting to outsmart aka Manto by choosing a different color or declining his offer typically results in the person being dragged to the underworld. The only escape is to ignore him or state that one does not need any paper. And that's it. Just a glimpse into Japan's creepiest urban legends. There are plenty more out there, each more scarier than the last. So, which of these legends do you find the scariest? And did we miss any of your favorites? Let us know in the comments and be sure to stay tuned to our channel for more.